What is going on, everybody? How are we all doing? And welcome back today to the top 30 players on FIFA 18. This is part 2 of this mini-series. If you didn't see the first part, that was players counting down from 30 to 26, of course. It went up a few days ago. I'll put a link to that in the top right-hand corner of your screens now. The support on that video was absolutely awesome, so thank you so much for that. If you do enjoy this one as well, make sure to leave a big thumbs up on it. And don't forget, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on all the players that we're going over today. What you think their rating should be, if you think I've been too generous, if you think I've been too harsh, and other players that you think should be making this top 30 countdown. But without any further ado, we're going to be kicking things off at number 25 with a player by the name of Hugo Lloris. Now, this year on FIFA, he's 88 rated. He's had a fantastic season for Tottenham. Of course, he's bagged himself an inform 89 rated, as well, of course, as the holy grail that is a team of the season card being 94 rated. And Lloris, like I said, had a very solid season for Tottenham. Tottenham in general have had a great season. If you didn't see the first part of that, the first part of this series, there was, of course, another Tottenham player that made the cut, and it was a bit of a different one. So if you did miss it, make sure you do check that out. But Lloris, to kick the video off, is a player that I actually think is going to stay exactly the same. So I say exactly the same. I think he's going to remain as an 88 rated goalkeeper. Like I say, he's had a fantastic season, but I think 88 is still, he's already a very high rated goalkeeper. Of course, this year for FIFA, well, for FIFA 17, keepers seem to get a massive boost. The likes of Lloris, Courtois being an 89 especially, and I just don't think Lloris deserves to go up to an 89. I think 88 is very high rated. It suits what Lloris is already perfectly. I think the one thing that will change though is his kicking, which I've taken up by 3 to 71, but the cards and overall just stay as an 88, and I've pushed up his kicking because of his overall kicking throughout the season. I know he made an absolute howler for France a week or so ago, but that was like a one-off, that was a blip, and I do think his kicking does deserve to go up. One of the better ball-playing goalkeepers in the Premier League, in my opinion. But yeah, kicking things off today, number 25, Hugo Lloris. Coming in at number 24, just ahead of Hugo Lloris, is going to be Giorgio Chiellini, another player that is already extremely highly rated on FIFA. 88 rated, had another standout season for Juventus, without doubt one of the best centre-backs in world football right now. I'd argue defence alone, this guy is absolutely outstanding. Might not have the dribbling and the sort of the passing that someone like Sergio Ramos has got, but when it comes down to just defending, this guy for me is the best in world football right now. Consistently does it for Juventus on the big stage, as well as for his national team Italy as well. You can see again, he's had a fantastic season. Like I say, started off the year as an 88 rated card, picked up an inform to take into an 89. He also got a team of the group stage card, which is a 90 rated for his performance in the UEFA Champions League, of course, and then obviously, as he always seems to do, picked himself up a team of the season card as well, which was very tasty looking. And although he's had another great season, very similarly to Hugo Lloris, I've decided to keep his card exactly the same, 88 rated. However, I have made a couple of adjustments again. I think his pace needed to be dropped down a little bit. He had 74 on his original card, and you know, he's another year older. He's I think he tend to punish pace, particularly when someone's hit over the 30 mark, which Giorgio Chiellini is now, of course. And yeah, 71 still very decent pace, and that is undoubtedly, though, a bit of a nerve. But despite the fact we've taken his pace down by 3, I have decided to push up his defending and physical by 1 inch, which will take his defending up to 91 and his physical up to 86. So 91 may seem extremely high, but like I've already mentioned, Chiellini for me is the best when it comes to no-nonsense defending. He's the best in world football right now, and probably has been, in my view, for at least the last season or 2. But Chiellini coming in at number 24, 88 rated, remaining the same, still a very solid card for a very solid player. Coming in just ahead of Giorgio Chiellini is his club teammate and national comrade as well. That is Gianluigi Buffon, now 39 years of age, but still, year in, year out, seems to produce the goods for Juventus and for Italy. He started off the year on FIFA 17 as an 88 rated goalkeeper, picked himself up, the same card as Giorgio Chiellini, that team of the group stage card, as well as having a nice SBC and getting himself a team of the season card, which again, like Chiellini, he never seems to fail to do. And I was very tempted to downgrade Buffon, just because he's 39, but I've actually decided, again, just like the previous 2 cards, to keep him exactly the same rating overall. And I just don't think he deserves the downgrade, to be honest. I think in the past, EA will traditionally downgrade someone when they're getting on a bit in the years, but Buffon, for me, has proven again this year that he's still up to that high standard. He's still one of the best keepers in world football, and it is insane to me. I can't think of another player like this. Let me know if you can in the comment section, where I assume he's going to turn 40 during FIFA 18, if he's still 88 rated when he's 40, that is absolutely incredible. I can't think of a player out there that's ever been so high rated at such an old age in footballing terms. But Buffon coming in at number 23, again holding on to his rating, but the next two players I'm pretty sure now are both ones that are going to be changing in rating. So although we've had three that have stayed the same, we're now in for a couple of tweaks. So coming in at number 22, the penultimate player that we're going to be taking a look at in today's countdown is Mesut Ozil, a player that I think most people would agree with me has had a very disappointing year with Arsenal. Arsenal in general, of course, not hitting that top four was a disappointing year, like for the club, full stop. But Ozil, one of those players that when you know he's got so much talent, has just been so disappointing far too often for me this season. Just doesn't seem to turn up on the big occasion, and it's just generally been missing for a lot of the year in my opinion. But on FIFA 17, started off the year as an 89 rated card, which is very high rated. Picked up a couple of informed, well, one team in the group stage card and then a regular informed, taking his overall up to 91 this year. But that is it, he didn't get in the team of the season, had a disappointing season on the whole, like I say, and that is why I've decided to downgrade him by one to an 88 rated cam. And it's one of those players that it's very difficult to know where to downgrade him because he's got such incredible talent. It's like he doesn't seem to apply himself all the time. But overall, I've given him the -1, like I've already mentioned. We've taken his pace down 1 to 71, his physical by 2 to 56, which is already very low, but I think his physicality is just so poor. He's pushed off the ball far too easily. I've taken his defending down by 4 as well. Two stats there, the physical and defending, that you just don't really associate with Ozil at all. Taking that all the way down to 20, but I have decided to increase his passing by 1 because although he's had a disappointing season, Ozil's passing is still amongst the best in world football, and I didn't think 86 was high enough, so we've taken it up to an 87. And to be honest, although we've taken him down by 1, it's still a very nice looking card. Still got great dribbling, very good passing as well, of course, but I think he's deserving of the downgrade. Still a very high rated card. For me, if you're rocking that 89 rating, you need to be a player that's performing at the highest level very consistently, and last season Ozil just did not do that in my opinion. And speaking of performing consistently, coming in at number 21, the final player that we're going to be taking a look at in today's countdown is Jerome Boateng, who's had another, I'll say another because I feel it was the same last year if I remember correctly, very disappointing season. He started out the year as a 90 rated centre-back, picked up no special cards, informs, anything like that at all year. The only other card he's got is actually a downgrade to an 89 rated card, which is why now I've actually decided to downgrade him by 2 from the card that he started out the year as to an 88 rated centre-back. Now, it's very difficult again to downgrade Boateng because he's another fantastic player, and his main problem has really been injuries, but it's a couple of seasons in a row now where he hasn't really been able to get first team football regularly because of the injuries. And when I was looking at his stats and stuff on the internet earlier today on Who Scored, looking at his ratings, his tackle percentages, all that kind of stuff, when he has played, which he hasn't played often, but when he hasn't hit the heights that he was hitting a couple of seasons ago. I think that's fair to say. So taking his card down by 2 from that 90 original FIFA 17 card, pace down by 3, similar to Chiellini. I think his pace was just a little bit too high, 76 pace. Even still, he's very strong for a centre-back. Aside from that, we've taken his dribbling down by 1, defending down by 2, and physical down by 2. These are not including, of course, the downgrades that he got on his 89 rated card. This is from his 90 rated, so very minimal downgrades really from the card that he had at the end of FIFA 17, but still very similar to Chiellini, a very nice looking card despite the fact we've taken the pace down to a 76, which is still phenomenal. Still got great defending at 88 and physical at 83. It's not the best for a centre-back, but still not the end of the world. The one thing I didn't want to touch with Boateng was his passing, because I think that's, again, one of his strongest assets is the way he can play the ball out from the back. But I think there's no doubt in my mind this guy doesn't deserve to be holding onto that 89 rating. Similar to what I said with Ozil, obviously it's a bit harsher on Boateng because he's been injured, but when he has been playing, he hasn't been putting in the performances that we know and are what we are used to from a player of his calibre. So taking him down to an 88, and he, like I say, is going to be the final player that we are looking at in today's countdown. So, like I said at the very beginning, love to hear your thoughts and feedback on the players that we've been looking at today. Love to hear your thoughts on what their rating should be, whether you think I've been too kind, whether you think like I'm completely wrong and I'm going nuts, but leave it all in the comment section down below. Always absolutely awesome to have a conversation with you down below. And like I said at the start as well, if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a big thumbs up on the video. But that is going to wrap this up. I will speak to you all tomorrow, lads. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Nidge out.